Hi guys, how's it going? It's Ian here from Sushtrans. Welcome to episode 4 of World of Bikes. This week's all about mountain bikes. Let's go! So nowadays, mountain biking just means riding your bike off-road. However, as the name suggests, mountain biking first began by riding your bike up and down mountains. And while you still can ride your bike up and down a mountain, we're lucky enough nowadays to have purpose-built trail centres and trails close by, some within walking or riding distance from city centres. Most trail centres have a map, and they also use a grading system which indicates how difficult each trail is. Trails that are quite flat and not very rocky would be a green or a blue, and it then goes to red, which is what we're on at the moment, which has bridges. It might have some rocks and lumps and bumps, and it might also have some technical steep descents. And last up are black graded trails, which are really steep, quite technical. They have jumps, they have rocks and roots that you have to avoid, which you might see a little bit of later on in the video. Cool, so this bike here is what's called a rigid bike, which means it doesn't have any suspension, and we'll learn about suspension later on, but basically what it does is it cushions all the rocks and the lumps and the bumps and any objects that you might run over when you're riding down the trails. Now a great feature of this bike is that it has huge tyres, and they're actually wider than the tyres that I have on my adult size mountain bike. This means that you can undo the valve cap and take the air out. This makes the tyre much softer, which means it's more comfortable to ride off-road, but you do have to be careful, because if you go too flat, you get a puncture. Because mountain bikes are designed for going downhill, you need some good brakes to stop you. On this bike, it comes in the form of a disc brake, which means when you pull the lever, the cable operates this caliper here, which squeezes the disc. Okay, next bike. This is an adult size mountain bike now. It's called a hard tail, so it's not a rigid. And a hard tail basically refers to the rear end not having any suspension. But it does have suspension at the front now. And these are called suspension forks, and they work like this. So when I push my weight on the front end, the suspension compresses, and that's what absorbs all the lumps and bumps. Okay, next bike. So this next bike isn't a rigid, it's not a hardtail, it's a full suspension bike, which basically means it has suspension at the front, and it now also has suspension at the rear. So if I bounce on the forks, they move like this. If I push down on the saddle, it moves like this. So this bike's really capable. It's designed for jumps. Like this. It's worthwhile noting that this has taken years of practice and shouldn't be attempted by anybody unless they're under direct supervision. So the reason this bike is so capable is it's designed specifically for being sent off big ramps, off some big drop-offs, off ledges, and all sorts of things. And it's made with strength in mind. So it's quite big, it's quite heavy, and it's quite difficult to pedal uphill, but it feels amazing when you get it in the air. Okay, last bike, which is a modern, brand new full suspension bike designed for riding down some of the steepest, roughest, most technical terrain there is to ride down, but it's also very capable to climb back up, so you can still ride it back up to the top of the trails. It has 29-inch wheels, so really quite big wheels, and get down, and it has a dropper post as well. So as far as mountain biking goes, this particular bike here is one of the highest spec bikes you can get. The entire frame is made from carbon fibre, so although it's a big bike, it's incredibly light and stiff. It has a huge gear range, which means it's really easy to climb up and also has some harder gears for going back down the hill. Massive suspension forks at the front and big wide handlebars for stability. So we're going to take it for a cycle now and see what it's capable of. A quick check of the suspension and we're ready to go. So that's mountain bikes. Thanks everyone for watching. Mountain biking is really accessible to most people. So if you have a fairly well maintained bike, you should be okay on some easy trails to begin with, and you certainly don't need the most expensive top of the range kit to have some fun. But make sure to wear a helmet. If you're interested in learning any more, there's some links below in the description. And there's also some links to some local trails so you can see where the closest riding is to you. Thanks again for watching and have a great week.
Like and subscribe for more.